Umbrella gun, Bulgaria. In 1978, Bulgarian dissident Georgy Markov was assassinated in London. While waiting at a bus stop, he felt a brief sting in his leg. 4 days later, he was dead. The weapon used was an umbrella gun. Inside it was a concealed, spring-loaded mechanism designed to deliver a microscopic metal pellet beneath the skin. The initial contact caused little pain and left no obvious wound. The pellet contained ricin, a toxin derived from castor beans. After entering the body, the pellet slowly dissolved, releasing the poison over time. Symptoms typically began hours later and worsened gradually as ricin disrupted the body's ability to produce essential proteins, leading to progressive organ failure. There is no antidote. The umbrella gun remains one of the most effective assassin weapons ever documented because the killer's action goes unnoticed while the poison continues working silently. Assassin Teapot, China. During the Ming Dynasty between the 14th and 17th centuries, Chinese craftsmen developed a teapot design now known as the dual-chamber teapot. From the outside, the teapot looked ordinary, often made from ceramic or clay. Inside, it was divided into two separate chambers, hidden beneath a single lid. One chamber held normal tea, the other could hold a different liquid. The separation was not visible unless the pot was broken open. The pouring mechanism was the key. By covering or uncovering a small air hole with a finger, the user could control how the liquid flowed. The teapot could pour from one chamber alone, switch to the other, or allow both liquids to flow together and mix inside the spout. To an observer, nothing looked unusual. This design was deadly because it exploited trust. Sharing tea symbolized respect and honesty. The killer could drink safely while serving poison from the same pot, using the act itself as proof of innocence. The weapon was not the teapot, it was the lie built into the vessel. Stiletto, Italy. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the stiletto became a favored weapon in Italian criminal circles, particularly among organized groups in cities like Naples and Palermo. Firearms were optional, but when a killing needed to be silent and controlled, a blade was the smarter choice. The stiletto was a long, narrow dagger, often with a triangular or needle-like blade. Unlike wider knives meant for slashing, it was designed purely to puncture. A short, precise thrust could reach vital organs, especially the lungs or heart, causing rapid collapse with little outward bleeding. Its thin profile allowed it to slip easily between ribs. When driven into the chest, the lungs filled with blood, breathing failed, and the victim was unable to signal for help, dying within minutes from a fatal wound. The weapon was easy to conceal and required no force, only proximity and intent. In Italian underworld culture, there was a saying, "Lascia parlare il coltello," let the knife speak. Philadelphia Deringer, United States. In 1865, US President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated at Ford's Theater. The weapon used was a small pocket pistol known as the Philadelphia Deringer, fired at point-blank range. The Philadelphia Deringer was a single-barrel, single-shot pistol, typically chambered in .44 caliber and measured only about 6 inches long. It was built with one priority: concealment. Compact enough to fit inside a pocket or sleeve, it represented one of the earliest true pocket handguns ever produced. The pistol was loaded from the front of the barrel and fired using a percussion cap, a common and reliable system of the period. Its design was mechanically simple with few moving parts, allowing it to be carried discreetly and fired immediately once cocked. The Philadelphia Deringer became the blueprint for later pocket pistols, including double-barrel Deringers and compact designs like the COP.357. That lineage began here, making the Philadelphia Deringer one of the most infamous assassination weapons in American history. Curare Blowgun, Brazil. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes such as the Ticuna and Yanomami hunted and fought with one of the oldest weapons on this list. The Curare blowgun was perfectly suited to dense jungle terrain, where even the slightest sound or movement could cause prey or enemies to disappear instantly. The blowgun was made from hollowed wood or bamboo, often stretching over 2 meters in length. It launched lightweight darts with near-silent force. What made it lethal was the poison. Curare was extracted from tree vines and roots, blended with toxic plants, and sometimes enhanced using venom from snakes and poisonous frogs. The mixture was slowly concentrated into a thick coating applied to the dart's tip. This poison was powerful enough to bring down large and strong animals in the rainforest. For a person, the effect was immediate. Within seconds, muscles stopped responding. The victim remained conscious but lost the ability to move, speak, or resist, collapsing silently, completely vulnerable prey for the hunter. Jambiya, Persia, modern-day Iran. In the 11th century, a group known as the Hashashin began carrying out targeted killings across Persia and the surrounding regions. Their executions were so precise and extreme that they shook the Islamic world. The weapon they carried was a curved dagger known as the Jambiya, designed for close-range use and easy concealment. The Hashashin were infiltrators before they were executioners. They blended into crowds, entered guarded spaces, and waited patiently until they were close enough to strike. Disguise and patience were what they excelled at. Their mission had one objective: kill the target. Many attacks were carried out openly, in daylight, sometimes directly in front of guards with no plan to escape. Death was accepted as part of the task. The Hashashin turned the Jambiya into a symbol of fear and death. Their methods were so effective that their name became the definition of professional killers, known today as assassins. Shikomizue, Japan. In 1876, during Japan's Meiji period, the government issued the Haitore Edict, banning the public carrying of swords. Samurai who once walked proudly with a katana at their waist were suddenly disarmed by law. But the blade did not disappear, it adapted. The result was the Shikomizue, a concealed sword hidden inside a walking cane. From the outside, it appeared harmless, usually made from wood and shaped like an ordinary walking stick. Inside was a steel blade forged from tamahagane, the same material used in katana. The design allowed the blade to be drawn in a single motion, placing the wielder instantly within striking distance. There was no warning. By the time the weapon was revealed, the attacker was already close enough to strike. What made the Shikomizue deadly was concealment combined with skill. Former samurai and ronin were forced to abandon visible swords, but the katana never left their hands. Urumi, India. By the 16th century, in southern India, particularly in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, warriors developed one of the most unusual blades ever used in combat, the Urumi. It appeared during a period where elite fighters trained for controlled violence inside courts, palaces, and guarded spaces. The Urumi was a flexible steel blade, sometimes several feet long, attached to a short handle. When not in use, it could be coiled tightly and worn around the waist like a belt, appearing harmless and easily passing inspections in places where weapons were forbidden. Once drawn, the weapon transformed instantly. When swung, the blade traced wide, unpredictable arcs, slashing in every direction. In confined spaces, a skilled user could dominate movement, forcing others to keep their distance. The Urumi was deadly because it allowed its wielder to choose the moment and position of the attack. Disguised until the last second, it could be unleashed to control the space, isolate a target, and prevent anyone else from intervening. Alright folks, which assassin weapon would you choose and why? If it wasn't listed here, let me know in the comments. There might be a part 2.